I never knew that we could get a ninja game and a samurai game all in one package and set in feudal Japan. I mean, what a brilliant idea. Hi everyone, how are you doing today and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be talking about the Sony PS4 exclusive Ghost of Tsushima, which is developed by Sucker Punch, who is known for Sly Cooper and Infamous. And this is a very different game from what I would expect from a Sucker Punch game. And when they announced it all the way back in, I believe, 2016 or 2017, one of those years in PSX, it was breathtaking to see as a trailer, and it was just excited to see what their next creation was going to be. Now, Ghost of Tsushima is set in the island of Tsushima in feudal Japan, whereby you play as a character called Jin, and he is, well, one of the, let's say, the leaders of the Tsushima island. And him and his uncle and a bunch of the samurai go to fight a Mongol invasion. So this was like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but this was like the Chinese Mongol Empire back in, you know, feudal Japan era. So so the Mongol comes to invade the island of Tsushima. They take a fatal blow because the Mongols are really, really strong. And Jin has to try and reclaim his island and basically liberate the island of the Mongols in order to save the people of Tsushima. And at this point, well, during the game, Jin has to decide whether he can save the island by being an honorable samurai or learning the ways of the Mongols and being the dishonorable ghost. This game, I don't know why, a lot of critics, right, when I saw some of the reviews, they were basically saying that the game is pretty much a rehash of other games that we played before and that, oh my days, it's nothing innovative. But honestly, I want to know what the critics are smoking, because this game is flipping fantastic, and I don't think that it should be like diminished at the fact that it borrows elements from different other games. What I look for in something that takes mechanics of other games is that if you're going to take the mechanics right, how do you execute it? Do you have, let's say, a world to execute it beautifully? Do you have a story to execute it beautifully? I mean, look at Spider-Man, for example. Spider-Man has the same mechanics as Arkham Knight in terms of the fighting, or Batman Arkham games. It's pretty much the same fighting mechanics. But how do you execute the game? Well, the web swing is amazing. Spider-Man is a really cool character. The characters are amazing. The world is sick. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of really good execution in that game. And I feel like Ghost of Tsushima is pretty much in the same boat. This game is beautiful and is one of the best games that Sony has ever made, especially for the PS4 era, which has a ridiculous amount of bangers already. So, wow, Sucker Punch, you really knocked it out of the park with this game, because this game is so fantastic, and I'm so grateful to have played this game. Granted, I'm going to tell you now, there will be no spoilers. I forgot to mention this at the beginning. There'll be no spoilers in this video, but I haven't finished the game. I'm about 2/3 in the game, or actually towards the endish of the game, but I wanted to make this review because I'm really excited to talk about this game, and I haven't talked about it yet, and everybody else has, so I need to talk about it pretty soon. And granted, even though I haven't finished a lot of the game, there's so much I've been doing that is not the main story, and that's the reason why I haven't finished the game. So that brings me on to my first point. There is so much to do in this world. Like, this world is so brilliant. As you travel around the world of Tsushima, right, you'll get little tidbits to do different side quests or different activities. There's always something exciting to do. Like, it doesn't feel like this world is bare boned and like just what's the word, like barren. So you know those open world games where there's just not that much to do and they just give you ridiculous open like world, and you're just like, man, like, this is very tedious. This game does not feel tedious at all. Like, every activity is so much fun, and what this game does, it's really special. It kind of reminds me of Breath of the Wild, but I'll give you this game reminds you of a lot of games, let's not get it twisted, but in a very good way. So anyway, it kind of reminds me of Breath of the Wild, whereby it will tell you subtly that there's different activities you can do, and it will like hint you towards it, but it doesn't force you to do them. And then when you do now do the activities, you actually have a crap load of fun. Like, for example, in the game, right, they'll have like animals that'll be just around the world, and you'll just hear them. And then if you follow these animals, they take you to different like unlockables that further enhances Jin as his as the character development, I would say. Well, not really character development, but making Jin stronger, which is so sick. And then, oh man, there's so much I need to talk about this game, but anyway, let's stick on the world. So the world, there's not just the main story, there are side quests as well, and these side quests are very, very deep. Like it's not just some small trash little side quests and you're like, oh, I'm done. Even though there are some of those, let's not lie, they're always those in open world games. They're always the small little trash little side quests, but there are some real deep side quests with a lot of information and just so much knowledge about the world that you would have actually missed if you just didn't focus on doing other things other than the story. And that's so cool because it gives the game a lot of depth that we didn't really need, but I'm glad I have, you know what I mean? Like, I love it when games do that, and it kind of reminds me of like The Witcher, for example. See, I'm gonna be mentioning a lot of games in this review, but how Witcher gave you these little side quests where you didn't have to do them, but they were so engaging that you'd want to complete them, you know what I mean? So yeah, Ghost of Tsushima has that, and it's just that the side quests are so much fun and beautiful. Also, to do with the world, we have to mention the guiding wind. Like, the guiding wind is such an innovative, sick idea. See, this is what I mean by the critics were probably smoking something, because the guiding wind, I'm not seeing something like that in any other games. And what the guiding wind is, if you don't know what the guiding wind is that it's you don't have a map, you don't have a waypoint system in the game. What you have is that the wind will guide you towards the direction, kind of like a compass, in order to go to your next objective. And when you get kind of closer to the objective, that's when you'll now see a little HUD on the screen telling you where the person is. And what that does is that it makes the game, how do I explain it? It makes the game clean, essentially. There's not like too many HUDs and too much information on the game. You can focus on how beautiful the world is and just take it in a lot more. This is what Breath of the Wild did so well, and this is what Ghost of Tsushima does probably even better. Like, guiding wind mechanic, I want to see that more in games, because I don't need to have the map tell me go to this place. I just need the direction. Like, just tell me more or less how to get there. And because of that, you now, when you are like following the guiding wind and there's so much activities going around, you're more inclined to do them than if you just follow, like, let's say like a GPS type map, or just the waypoint. You're just gonna go straight there. You're not gonna like care about everything else. Does that make sense? Like, because of that guiding wind, it allows for more discovery. That's how I felt when I was playing the game. And then and even the guiding wind mechanic is so sick that you don't even need to like swipe on the so basically swipe the touchpad to get the guiding wind, but you don't even need to swipe the touchpad, right? Little particles, right, and subtle wind will be blown in the game as you move, and you don't notice this until you really start to like clock it, and you start to understand that, oh, the wind in this game is legit a mechanic to help me get to where I'm going to. It's not just the guiding wind. I don't know if that made sense, but you'll probably have to play the game to understand what I mean. But the game is just so beautiful in that sense that there are just so many different parts of the world that allows for exploration. But anyway, I'm just gushing about the world. There's still more. The characters are awesome. I love Jin Sakai. Like, I love Jin Sakai. He's so awesome, and he's so understandable about where he's coming from. As you team go from the honorable samurai at the start of the game and see him slowly turning more into the ghost and starting to do less dishonorable things and forget about the way of the samurai and lead towards just getting the job done. You start to feel for him, you start to understand him, and it's really cool of a development to see, especially how different parts of the story basically influences his decision in order to become the Ghost of Tsushima. If I haven't said this already, the game's beautiful. The world is actually stunning, and bear in mind, this game loads ridiculously fast. I don't know if I was the only one that noticed this, but this game loads like PS5 load times that I would expect. This game loads so quickly, and it's a huge open world game. Like, I was so shocked. I was like, you know, this is the end of the PS4. It wouldn't surprise me if it took like, you know, at least like 2 to 3 minutes to load the game. But man, it takes like a couple seconds. I mean, maybe not a couple seconds. Like let's say like 10 to 20 seconds to load the game. That's ridiculously quick, especially an open world game. So fair enough, Sucker Punch. You did well in that regard too. I haven't even gotten to the combat, and I've talked a lot about everything else. So the combat in the game is really, really good. I love the combat. So what the combat is it blends like the Dark Souls-esque parry mechanic with the with different stances. I think that's from Neo, but yeah, they have different stances as well in the game. And also, that's if you want to play as the samurai. But if you want to play as the ghost, you're basically playing Assassin's Creed. Let me not lie to you. It's Assassin's Creed, but it's not in a bad way. But it's Assassin's Creed. So I'm trash at parry. So it was not easy for me to be the samurai. But once I got better and better and better, I started to enjoy the combat a lot more. Like, let me not lie. At the beginning of the game, I was getting my ass handed to me on a platter. Like I was getting worked on, and it wasn't even funny. Like it was a point where I was like, man, I'm not that bad at games. Like, come on, like how am I getting worked on like this? But as I got better and better and better, and I started to understand the mechanics more, I was like, all right, cool. I started to get my parries a lot better, but I'm still not parry pro, let me not lie to you. I still need to work on that. Jedi Fallen Order also taught me that too. God. But I still had a lot of fun with the combat, especially with the different stances. That's such a cool mechanic because in the game you have 4 different stances, and each different stance works on different enemies. So, and they're very, very easy to switch between the stances, bear in mind too. So let's say a guy with a shield will come, and then a guy with 2 swords will come. There'll be a different stance for the swordsman compared to the shieldsman, and if you use the stance for that shieldman, it would work effectively on the shieldman. You could use it on the swordsman, but it won't work as well as if you use the sword stance. And all you have to do is really quick and easy to select. Press, I think, L2 and X, or L2 self, L2 and a button, and you change your stances really quickly. So it doesn't feel it doesn't feel like tedious to switch stances. It just feels really fluid, and it doesn't stop the flow of the action. All the tools are really cool too. Like I said, it's kind of Batman 2 in a sense as well. Like the hutbacks, you have different little tools. Like you have sticky bombs, and you have wind chimes. Like you're doing all these stealth mechanics, and you're trying to invoke fear into your enemy as well, which Batman does in the Arkham games. You see what I mean by referring to a lot of games in this thing. But what I've noticed with all those games though that are influencing this game, like I said, the Batman one, and how Assassin's Creed came into it, Dark Souls, Breath of the Wild, I could even throw in Shadow of the Colossus to an extent, maybe even the cinematics of The Last of Us and Naughty Dog games in general. All of those games makes this game instantly better. It doesn't mean that when you play the game, you're like, I've got all this stuff from all these places, the game's kind of trash. No, what it does, it's like the perfect combination of all the things you love about all those games and to make this sweet ass game. Like Ghost of Tsushima is an excellent achievement in gaming. Like it's such a fantastic game, and I'm really impressed with Sony because to cap off the PS4 generation, like I said, which has been a generation of bangers, with this game is insane. Like it's actually insane, and I really need the sequel. So yeah, I don't want to go more and more into it. Like there is a lot more I could talk about. Like the photo mode is crazy sick. Like oh my god, I've seen the photos online. They have produced some realistic photos in this game. There's so much about this game I love. Even the animation. Okay, all right, granted, let me get with a little bit of nitpicks here. Sometimes the facial animation doesn't flow with the words that they're saying. So at times, especially after The Last of Us, it does feel a little odd when you're watching these cutscenes and the animation doesn't really mesh with what they're saying. But it's a little nitpick. It's not anything deep like that. It was just something I wanted to note. But other than that, I think everything else is beautiful. Oh, the music, bruh. The music is fire as well. Like, oh damn, this game, I actually flipping love this game. So anyway, overall, I'm gonna give this score, because Ghost of Tsushima is flipping incredible, I'm gonna give this a 9.5 out of 10. This and Final Fantasy VII are definitely my games of the year. I still think that Cyberpunk will probably beat both, but I don't know which I'm picking between this and Final Fantasy VII, because man, this game is flipping incredible. Like, I don't think you understand how great this game is. And I haven't even talked about the story. The story is beautiful as well. Well, maybe not beautiful. I think it's really, really, really good. So yeah, this game is flipping incredible, and I'm really, really excited to see what Sucker Punch cooks up next. I love the fact that all the different developers that Sony has had the chance to express themselves and try new ideas, kind of with like Guerrilla Games and Horizon, Sony Santa Monica reinventing the living daylights out of God of War, Sucker Punch now being able to do Ghost of Tsushima. And I have to say that Sony, you've been killing it this gen. I'm gonna make a video where I talk about how the PS4 has become one of my favorite consoles ever, if not the favorite, and how it's basically made me way more of a Sony fanboy than ever before. And I just want to say thank you, Sony, because in this generation where we've had people be like, oh, single player games are dead and done, like no one's going to play single player games, Sony has been the one who's been the forefront in making beautiful, sick ass games that have just been generation defining and made people fall in love with gaming even more than they already have. So yeah, thank you for that. So anyway, those are my thoughts and impressions of Ghost of Tsushima. I'm actually going to do a post-game review later, maybe next week or in the following weeks. I don't know yet. I want to finish the game and do a lot more side quests and finish them. But what do you think about it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Have you taken some really cool photos? Let me know in the comment section. I am open to discussion. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel for more content on pop culture and entertainment. And stay safe and have a great day. I'll see you soon. All right, bye.